Saintess summons skeletons. By Morn. Chapter 731, Grand Finale, Sofia vs Redacted, Part 4. Even inside of Sofia's makeshift bunker, the explosion was blinding and deafening. Sofia's bones shattered from the shockwave, though that was the kind of damage which would quickly heal. The issue was the temperature. Inside of her right chest Sofia was getting cooked alive, and there was nothing she could really do about it. Since the bone she had filled the chest with was getting burned to a crisp faster than her aura could heal it, she switched the blessing of permanent frame to her own bones, and waited for the heat to die down, her health plummeting by the second. In the end, only her bones survived, even her arm hiding inside of the dragon scale armguard turned to ash. I think it should be about done now. Even if I get rid of the blessing I still can't move with my health under 15%. I have to use a rune. Fishing the admin dagger from the pile of ash in the bottom of the chest with a bone tendril, Sofia stabbed her mana heart. There we go. Undo the blessing. Perfect. This heat. My explosions almost feel like a joke in comparison. Getting roasted isn't too bad though, I'm so used to it by now. Alright. Sofia stored the chest away. Lords. It's like the hole I made crashing into the moon. I can barely see through all that dust. Probably a good time to try to escape their tracking. Bookie, get me the sandworm. Sofia sat inside of a bone cabin, latched inside of the sandworm's ribs, with the other skeletons sitting next to her. And that's it so far, now we're following the map, I think. The explosion was a bit disorienting. I have my rune back up already, so if anything this last attack only helped us. Is it possible they think they killed you? Bookie asked. Not a chance, Jin has to know. Otherwise the event would have ended, right? Oh. Do you think they will try the giant boom again? Probably not right away, Sofia guessed, but maybe if they manage to weaken us enough they could try again to finish me off. I'm more worried about the light attacks. If they can do them faster than they did earlier, it could become a real stop. The sandworm immediately stopped digging through the sand. Danger? Pestle asked, looking up from Sofia's lap. Something crossed through my mana senses above ground, Sofia whispered. I thought we were deep enough but they might have managed to still track us somehow. Maybe it's an animal? Bookie asked, copying Sofia's hushed voice. I'm not sure. Like everything else here it had no mana so I really only got a blurry shape, but it was like a square bird flying in a straight line right above the sand. Quite fast, too. Is baby plane? Pestle asked. I doubt that how planes work, but in a sense, maybe. It was about 2 meters across, I'd say. Ah, it's coming back. Stay quiet. Gone again. They definitely know we're around here I think, they just don't know where exactly. Maybe we need to dig deeper. Bookie asked. That would slow the worm down too much. Let's go again, I'll just stop us whenever I feel that thing coming nearby. Sofia steered the sandworm toward the north, avoiding the strange things on the surface however she could. At first she would always stop right away when she spotted one, but as the number of these sand watchers increased, she started to correct the sandworm's trajectory to avoid their path instead, only stopping when one came too close. A long while later, the sandworm started to slow down considerably. It looks like we're almost out of the desert. Get back inside everyone, we're stopping here. Leaving the sandworm behind and telling it to go east as a diversion, Sofia got the graveyard nymphs to bring her almost to the surface. Surroundings clear, let's get out. Let's see. Still kind of the desert, but these small mountains are what stopped us. I see. Jumping to the top of the highest nearby vantage point, Sofia looked around. Some villages in this direction, all look abandoned, and back in the desert. Zooming in on a moving point with her left eye, Sofia could finally see what had been tracking her. It was some kind of mostly flat black thing. Too narrow for someone to fit inside. Too bad I can't identify it from so far away. It's following the sandworm. I might not have long until they realize I escaped, let's move. If I trust the map, the coast shouldn't be too far north, maybe a 15-minute run? Sofia managed to run in a straight line for about 3 minutes before her danger sense warned her of an incoming attack. She urgently stopped herself by having her aura pull back on her bones. A flash of light burned a hole in the ground, right in front of her. Already? How? Sofia looked around but there was literally no one. No humans, no planes, No weird flat flying thing, not even any animals. Ah, whatever. Let's keep moving. I'm halfway there. I wanted to stay discreet, but since they already found me. Sofia channeled an explosive bolt as she ran. She expected more light attacks to come from above, but to her surprise minutes passed without any more after the first shot. Finally, after crossing some mountains, she saw the coastline in the distance. Oh shit! She almost wanted to turn around, seeing what was waiting for her. The coastline was dark with the troops of the human army. Though there were very few actual human to be seen anywhere, but war vehicles and machines that Sofia couldn't even begin to understand were lined up along the coast, covering hundreds of kilometers. She couldn't even begin to count the number of machines on the land, let alone the number of ships of all kinds lined up behind them. In a way, this was also encouraging, for there to be such a trap ready, this had to be the correct direction. The army's assault did not give Sofia much time to think. Planes departed from ships in waves, thousands of flat black flyers took to the skies, launching from containers on the ground, and so many missiles of all shapes and sizes were fired in unison that they hid the army behind a thick curtain of flames and smoke. I need a star. The channeling of the Saintesser's star would take a few seconds. In the meantime, Sofia needed to somehow survive the multiple alerts her new danger senses rung in her mind. Her instant teleportation dodged the first flash of light from above. That left plenty of alerts for slower projectiles. Huge ship-mounted cannons had fired something at her, though she couldn't quite tell what, but they were going to reach her fast. Sofia jumped back, taking cover behind the small mountain she was on to finish her cast. The distance she still had from the army was to her advantage. Just as she was ready to summon the star, the first projectiles hit the mountain behind her. They were truly just physical projectiles, it seems, provoking no explosion, but carving large holes into the mountain from sheer kinetic force. There were so many, and so spread out, that the mountain Sofia was hiding behind was almost entirely gone after that first volley. And that was just the beginning, as the swarm of missiles had still yet to reach her, and more kept being fired. Now or never. Sofia jumped as high up in the air as she could. Saintesser's star. Dumping 1,000,000 mana into one single star, she turned it into its death variant instantly. The rot started spreading, as far as the eye could see, covering the villages and the desert, the mountains and the trees, the missiles and the plains. Nothing escaped from the layer of black rot. Without mana to absorb and sustain it, the rot could only dig into the surface of whatever it touched before having to eat itself, but the star kept applying more, letting it slowly eat through everything. It was a good move, but too slow to prevent the missiles from coming down. Not dealing with that. Sofia threw her explosive bolt toward the largest group of ships she could see, and let the graveyard nymphs drag her underground just as the first missiles started to land. Faster! Faster! Go down faster! The rain of explosives carved out the ground as Sofia escaped through it. In her spirit form she was quite vulnerable, although the missiles themselves probably wouldn't be able to hurt her at all. She had a sneaking suspicion that the light flashes could. Underground, Sofia advanced toward the army. It did not take long for different missiles to start raining upon the ground. Instead of exploding on the surface, they somehow sent their explosions downward into the earth. Sofia was far enough that the explosions couldn't reach her, but all the concentrated firepower of the human army shook even the spirit plane. After only a few seconds, she also felt her Saintesser star detonate, meaning it had taken too much damage. It's too much, I can't come back up. Not before reaching them. A voice relatively similar to Pessel's came from a monitor. Commander. Can I go yet? We are wasting too many resources. Jin shook his head. Patience, Lilith. Patience. Keep mapping her capabilities for now. Your ME2 won't be enough, I assure you. We have to slow her down as much as we can, and we can afford to lose the Mediterranean Armada. She will probably resurface soon, around these coordinates I think, Jin said, a tablet pen tracing a wide oval shape on a map of the Moroccan coast. Align the railguns for the second round, and keep the remaining sniper drones ready. As you wish, Commander. Chapter 732, Grand Finale, Sofia vs Redacted, Part 5. I should be close enough. Sofia sent a nymph to check the surface before coming up. The skeleton died as soon as it even partially left the spiritual plane. Crap! And now they know my position. The remaining nymphs quickly dragged Sofia further toward the coast, several groundbreaker missiles hitting their previous position in a matter of seconds. Screw this, go further, let's resurface under the closest ship. Moments later, the nymphs pulled Sofia up to the sea floor, under one of the many huge ships near the coast. The waters were dark, but not enough for Sofia to be unable to see. Even here, four-legged machines, looking like large round spider bubbles, equipped with 4 directional lights, were actively scouring the sea floor. Returning to the spirit plane, Sofia let the nymphs pull her further up, since it was unlikely these small machines would have the firepower to harm her in the spirit plane, even if they would without a doubt spot the nymphs. And spot them they did. Their legs folded and turned into spinning fans, and the bubble-like machines basically threw themselves at the nymphs before falling apart. From the blurry shapes of the spirit plane, it was hard to tell exactly what they were trying to accomplish. Sofia only understood when she returned to the physical plane in the lowest level of the ship. The steel under her feet was freezing cold. Freezing bombs? Were they hoping to keep me trapped in ice? Doesn't feel like there's anyone aboard the ship. All just electricity-powered machines. Just my mana senses are enough to disrupt things. I never knew it was so easy to feel electricity with mana senses. Maybe it's because there's no mana around? The source isn't too far. Running through a few rooms she couldn't even begin to understand the purpose of, Sofia found the source of the ship's power. This, too, she couldn't understand, but the energy seemed to come from a large contraption powered by a strange-looking barrel in the center. The identify gave nothing. Sofia used her eye to store the weird barrel, and every light inside the ship died down for a second, before starting again, powered from a new energy source on the opposite side. Though Sofia wanted to spend more time trying to understand how exactly what she was fighting against worked, she immediately sensed the incoming danger coming from her right. Because the interior of the ship was so messy with huge cables everywhere, finding empty space to teleport to wasn't easy, and the outside wasn't any better, with all the water turned to ice. She decided to block with her arm guard, protecting her head and mana heart. There was a bang, and an arm-sized metallic projectile pierced a hole through the thick steel hull of the ship before crashing into Sofia's arm. The damage was minimal, only breaking her arm and shoulder. It's the mountain eaters, she thought, fixing her arm as she felt more similar hits coming from all directions. She jumped up, punching her way through the room ceiling, as the room she was just in was pierced from all sides and utterly destroyed. This had been an anticipated move, it seemed, as the room above was also hit. 3 metallic projectiles tore through Sofia's body as she contorted herself to avoid as many as possible. She was now missing her left leg and arm, and had a wide gaping hole right in the middle of her belly, but at least she had avoided any fatal damage, and it seemed the mountain eater attacks were over, for the moment. Since it was on a thick layer of ice, the ship was not sinking despite its insides being reduced a burning pile of scrap metal, giving Sofia some time to repair herself. She quickly regrew the missing part of her spine, and grabbed a spare replacement bone body's leg and arm to reattach. The spare parts were messily attached, but as long as her blood light was correctly spread inside, it would be good enough. She could already hear the sound of missiles about to come crashing down on the ship. Bookie, as soon as I'm close enough to liquid water, summon the fishes in there, have them take down the other ships. 2 per ship should be enough, all they have to do is eat through the hull and crash through the weird energy barrels on both sides. Sofia jumped as far as she could into the flaming remains of the ship, and punched through the hull, making her way out just under sea level. The water outside was frozen, but her punch had destroyed it enough for her to be able to jump out of the ship and into the air at the last second before a rain missiles fell onto the ship. But to Sofia's surprise, as she was in the air jumping away and looking back at the ship and the coastline behind it, the missiles did not quite explode right away, they seemed to instead release a shimmering fog all around the ship. There was a spark, and Sofia felt herself get pulled back in. Bad. She could just about teleport far away enough to get herself into the non-frozen sea water farther from the coast. As she disappeared, the air around the ship exploded. Vacuum missiles. Sofia guessed as she bolted the nearest incoming freezing bubble machine coming from the bottom of the sea before they could get too close. Their design is easily recognizable at least. Felt just like getting grabbed by Paratha's gravity well. Following Sofia's earlier order, Bookie summoned the red flailer skeletons, the 500 fishes immediately scattering through the waters in groups of 2. The birds are fucking useless with no mana to fly on, but the fishes are perfect. With no time to waste, Sofia also got Bookie to summon a single guardian Kijikik, and resurfaced. She wanted to keep all the attention on herself until the fishes could take down the ships, since they were the most dangerous part of the army with their mountain eater cannons. She felt the danger coming from above again, but this time, she had protection. The guardian Kijikik was latched onto her back, his long body covering her like a cape, his shield held up high above Sofia's head like an umbrella. The flash of light came, and the Kijikik's shield instantly glowed up white from the absorbed heat, but the sun blessing was in effect, preventing all damage. Sofia had no time to rejoice about this small victory, however, as a swarm of flying black things hovered all around her, like trapping her in a giant sphere. Ah shit! The flyers were all mounted with the same weapon the woman who had shot at Sofia's face in the city had, sniper rifles. Because of the Kijikik, summoning the astrite chest for protection wasn't an option, so Sofia opted for thick walls of Lumian bones instead, forming a cube around her that she held up with her aura. The flyers fired at the cube. Sofia quickly giving it the permanent frame blessing before summoning the graveyard nymphs again. Leaving the cube behind with a spare bone body inside as a lure, Sofia dove back down into the spirit plane sea. Not a damn second to breathe. Despite the mess of the situation, because Sofia spent so little time attacking, her mana was still doing well at just over 3 million left, and her health was still at a comfortable 70%, the only issue was her stamina, which was in a quick decline. The skeleton fishes, at least, were starting to take down the closest ships, which would make things easier. The Mountain Eater projectiles weren't that fast, compared to the light attacks anyway, so if the closest cannons were taken care of, Sofia felt she could easily avoid them like the first time. Leaving before I deal with either all the Mountain Eaters or all the missile launchers is dangerous, I can't quite avoid both at once when I cross the sea. I don't know how far the missiles can fly, but I have to assume it's not that easy to get out of their range. So I just need to survive long enough for the fishes to take down the ships. On the sea floor, Sofia returned to the physical plane to bolt away a few bubble machines. Pestle. The tiny fairy appeared in Sofia's hand, looking around to assess the situation. Her aura that was usually very hard to see was now very clear to Sofia's eyes, the entirety of the mana that kept Pestle alive floating in tight currents around her bones and mana heart. There's no mana, but you should still be able to fly for a bit with your reserves, right? Go up and destroy as many black flyers as you can go all out, I will resummon you later. Very destroy. Pestle enthusiastically answered, her voice deformed by the water, before she shot up through the cold water. Unlike Sofia, the fishes and Pestle were hard to target, it seemed, and while Sofia hid under the sea floor in the spirit plane, the skeletons did a number on the mechanical human army. I can't stay here too long, I'm starting to feel weird already. I used to be able to stay in the spirit plane without issue for a lot longer. I thought it would get better with levels, but it looks like it's actually getting worse. It wasn't that bad in the Vake Hive. Ah! Pestle's mana ran out. It's probably time to head out. Having taken a bit more distance while she was hiding, Sofia resurfaced again, much further from the shore. That's at least 70 ships down. There are flyers left, but not nearly as many. They spotted me again already. Another wave of missiles incoming. I should be able to survive that. Time to get the fuck out. Stepping onto thin air, Sofia jumped away. At the apex of her jumps, she felt slow enough that Dodge Me reverted to the order state for a moment, allowing her to step on the air again. That was how she usually jumped up to get a better view. Makes my trajectory predictable, but this is so much faster than dragging myself around with my aura or swimming. The remaining Mountain Eater cannons shot at her with uncanny precision, perfectly anticipating where she would be when the projectiles reached her despite the long distance, but since it was like this, small repositions mid-jump by having her aura yank her bones around was all Sofia needed to avoid the non-explosive metallic rounds. That constant dodging game slowed her down enough that the first wave of missiles reached her before she could get too far, but Sofia had anticipated the blow. She teleported forward at the last second, summoning as large a bone wall as she could behind her. The shockwave from the explosion pushed the bone wall away like a sail in the wind, launching Sofia forward fast enough that she completely out of danger. See you later, I got places to go. Sofia left the armada behind, soaring through the air to the northeast along the southern European coast. Chapter 733, Grand Finale, Sofia vs Redacted, Part 6. Lilith, is your analysis complete? Just about, Commander. There are still unknowns, and I have failed to trace the source of her energy to anything coherent, but the capabilities we have been shown I have a sufficient understanding of. Good. I believe she is heading for the Switzerland decoy, make sure the facility is fully evacuated. Are we firing another Goliath, Commander? Pointless, she is probably expecting an ambush. The ME3 will be ready by the time she arrives. It's your turn. Frontal battle. Ideally you lure her into orbit, but otherwise, yes. I will be handling the satellites and the psychological side, you execute. At your command. It's really strange, this world. Houses everywhere. Just everywhere. The desert was probably the only place where there weren't too many. They must be so many. And yet there's nobody out at all. How organized do they have to be for them to all be already hiding underground no matter where I go? It all seems a bit too calm now. There isn't an army on this coast it looks like. And even the light attacks have stopped. Whoa, that is one huge city. Reminds me of Exidia. Planes launching site here. But it's just as silent as the rest of the place. Not a military one, then. Wait, is that a coliseum over there? And that's a damn cathedral out there. Damn big one too. Ha, humans truly are the same no matter the planet. Right, Jin's journal mentioned gods, now that I think about it. With no mana though? Maybe they could be electricity gods like connection then? Seems fitting. Funny how the city center is all organized in squares. A few stragglers here actually. Hey. I wonder if Alith lived near here? It does have the mountains with the sea to the south. Though I suppose lots of place probably fit that description. No, she said some of the nearby mountains were always snowy. I think, must not be it then. Not a speck of snow here. Walking on the air above the city, Sofia pulled out her map. Well, enough sightseeing, surprising that the missile launchers down there aren't shooting. I should head east right about now I think. Find these two islands. Don't see them from here even though I'm pretty high. Hopefully I'm not way off of where I think I am. A few jumps into the sea later, Sofia could see both the islands she was hoping to find, but also another coast to the north. She stopped for a second to compare with her map. For a hastily hand-drawn map this is shockingly accurate. Alright, so I stop a bit before reaching those, and I head straight north until... Hopefully I'll find out. If there's nothing I'll switch to the other plan. Sorry that you have to sit all the fun out Parith, keeping your skills secret is just too crucial. Hey, those are snowy mountains all the way over there. Not that snowy. But a bit. A bit later, Sofia reached the land, starting to jump over the snowy mountains. They really like their coastal cities on this planet, you can tell they don't have to deal with sea monsters. Though I guess with everyone at level 1 even a regular big fish could be deadly if you're not careful. They certainly have the weaponry to deal with that, at least. A whole entire planet without monsters. Crazy. Sofia's voyage was oddly silent and peaceful. She had to admit that the absolute calm of this planet devoid of strange creatures was actually refreshing, when the humans themselves weren't sending missiles and whatnot at her face. On a whim she quickly stopped by a small village when she spotted a food market. The stalls were all abandoned, hurriedly left behind by the inhabitants that her mana senses could spot in a bunker deep underground below the central plaza. Sofia summoned Pestle. Want to help me sample some leg? Sofia told the fairy. Otherworld leg. Pestle rejoiced, disappearing from view, her form flickering from stall to stall as she sampled each and everything she could get her knuckles on. Be quick, we can't stay in one place too long, Sofia added, grabbing a round red fruit that vaguely resembled an opera. Whoa. That's like a tougher opera with 10 times the sweetness. Sofia took another bite as she looked around. Cheese, milk, cured meat. I mean, it's all a bit different but it's basically the same. Oh, bread. Michael complained that ours was bad. She took a single bite and it almost made her want to cry. Shit. Ours is bad. Where? How do we fuck this up so bad? By the time Sofia turned around again, the other stalls were all empty, Pestle lying on the ground, her limbs spread in the middle of the market. Ah. Well, I asked her to be fast, I can't complain. Get back inside, you glutton, enough leg for today. Very thank. Pestle answered before disappearing back into the halls. Jumping out of the city, Sofia felt a bit self-conscious. Everyone just watched me take a food sampling break in the middle of the trial's finale. Oh well. It's food from another world. Who can blame me? It's a reward on its own, in a way. She continued north for a while. It should be around here? More snowy mountaintops. Nothing stands out. There are a few cities in the valleys but nothing looks like a place the general of Earth's entire army would be. After taking some more altitude, Sofia found something, what looked like a heavily protected castle of steel on a mountaintop. The white walls reflecting the snow had made it slightly hard to spot at first glance. Oh, that must be it. Did that guy actually draw me a map leading straight to an important facility? That's a bit sad. I see no movement though. Do I bolt it? Takes too long. Maybe if I'd charged it beforehand. I'll just check it out. Sofia took another few jumps, standing right above the White Castle, and summoned a rain of skeleton rats. Get to work, guys. Map out the place. I don't feel like there's any human in there at least. Hard to sense much detail inside though. The rats scoured the whole place in just a few minutes, chewing through walls and armored doors, finding no one. Maybe he was actually there and fled? He would have had ample time. The place's defenses aren't even trying to attack the rats. So the flyers are called drones? Does that mean there are bigger versions out there? Weird to see them on the roof like that. Like dead birds. Suddenly, as Sofia was about to retrieve the rats and move on to her other plan, she heard static coming from below, a noise she recognized, as it was just like how Zhang Lu had communicated with her Enolith and Zhangdar before their battle. Oh? Someone is going to speak? A slightly high-pitched voice, sounding a bit similar to Pessel's, repeated short words twice, in a language Sofia did not understand at all. Then, the voice spoke the common language. The sentences were broken, and the pronunciation way off, but they were words Sofia understood. I not understand you, the voice said through the speakers. Wah! What can I even answer? You hit. I not understand. Is she asking why I'm attacking them? I don't even have a valid reason. It's just a trial. I'm looking for Jin. Sofia answered. It could be counterproductive, but it was not like Jin wasn't aware, so she hoped the situation could help her somehow, though she had little hope. Not, the voice angrily answered. Jin, you hit not. Seemingly very upset, the voice continued. You sample. For today I sample. I hit. Lilith hit. Lilith? The voice and the static stopped. The words she used. Did she teach herself some of the common language from the few sentences I told the soldiers back then in my break with Pessel? They were listening the entire time. Well. She knows Jin, that's for sure. Now she hits? They have been hitting a lot more than I did already. But sure, that's a good opportunity. Parath, I think it's your time to shine. Parath appeared next to Sofia, held up in the air by her aura. We might be in for another big explosion. Just in case, be ready to get back in if it's too bad. Parath nodded, preparing his armor and weapon. Him and Sofia were on high alert, waiting for Lilith to strike, but aside from the growing bolt crackling in Sofia's hand, the mountains were silent. Then Sofia noticed the light above, shining high up in the sky, leaving behind a fiery trail. Meteorite. Chapter 734, Grand Finale, Sofia vs Redacted, Part 7. Wait, that's not a meteorite. That's a person. A robot person. Lilith? Sadly. Now is not the time for politeness. Parath, ready. Standing behind Parath, she lined up her shot. Sofia threw her bolt at the giant robotic woman falling from the sky. The bolt let Sofia's scepter with a bang, and it was perfectly aimed, but instead of piercing straight through its target, it curved around it, and continued its way through the evening's orange skies. Dodge me. Mr. Scribe sent an identify all on his own, giving Sofia the little data he could. Mechanical Elysium 3, the ultimate culmination of Earth's recorded technology and science. The giant figure was enveloped in bright flames as it pierced through the low atmosphere and crashed into a nearby mountain, making the earth shake under the impact. Quite the entrance. In front of Sofia, Parath put on his commander jacket, and grew to his tallest size, a 15 meters tall abomination skeleton in a bone armor with a flowing jacket, holy wheels of eyes floating behind him. So much for having to kill Jin. This is the true final fight, isn't it? In the fuming crater of its own making, the mechanical Elysium rose with an eerie grace, its 15-meter form gleaming under the fading orange sky. Its obsidian black armor shimmered with iridescent hues of violet and blue, accentuating a sleek, vaguely feminine silhouette. Crimson light pulsed from behind its featureless faceplate, making it feel strangely alive. It reached behind its back, its long arms articulated just like a human's, and pulled out a long straight blade with a strange design. Lilith, right. Sofia called out from her mountain, I'm sorry. Let's have some fun together. We finally have it, Perith. Our second victory fight. Are you as excited as I am? Let's do this. Perith charged ahead, jumping over the valley separating the two mountains, his sanctified grounds following him as he moved. Sofia let herself fall back to the surface of the snowy mountain top, and chomped down on a suffering crystal and silently endured the pain as she felt her mind speed up. She had the certitude this 500% processing boost was going to be vital. For now, silently channeling a Saintesmancer's star, she was an observer. Energy surged from within the giant robot, imitating Perith. It jumped, its blade lighting up with bright light. Plasma sword now. The two giants clashed in the air. Lilith's blade was faster, but Perith was more than capable of adjusting his sword's path to block it. As the blades met, Lilith's plasma sword sliced through Perith's weapon of light with almost no resistance, but Perith's sword reformed right after. The two swords met their target. Perith's sword met Lilith's neck, leaving a huge dent in its plating. His sword had made it about a third of the way through. Lilith's sword, however, sliced through armor and bone like through thin air, cutting Perith's body diagonally from the shoulder to the waist. The blow was tremendous, 100 million health gone in an instant, but as fast as it disappeared, the lingering healing from Sofia's close aura fused his two halves together, and the missing health came back. Lilith's left hand grabbed and crushed Perith's light sword to a light dust, and her neck fixed itself with a bang as if hit with a hammer from the inside. I cannot believe this thing has no mana. As the first clash took place, Sofia noticed several black dots rising into the sky from every direction. Pull back. Perith teleported back to Sofia before he and Lilith could clash again. Secret human technique. Get the fuck away. Pulling Perith back into the halls along with all the skeleton rats who had rushed back to Sofia the instant she had landed, Sofia jumped down from the mountain, running north as fast as she could. If I'm reading things correctly, with what I know of this planet. Sofia shoulder bashed a drone as she ran, her augmented processing letting her avoid the sniper shots from the other ones nearby. I can extend Bookie's sunlight by getting closer to the pole. Moving also would make it harder for the drones to surround them, and Sofia wanted to probe Lilith's mobility and range. The knowledge would help to avoid Perith getting killed needlessly, considering that Lilith was more than capable of dishing out enough damage. A vision token stuck on the back of her helmet, Sofia looked behind her without turning around. No wings, but she flies fast. I can't outrun that. Not without stacking any buff. Lilith pointed her open left palm at Sofia as she flew towards her. Accumulating energy? Channeling time? Sofia counter on the danger sensing skill to give her the proper timing. At the last second, she stopped and Perith emerged from the halls, shield raised. Lilith's left hand blew up and a projectile flew out. It was just a tiny dart that shot in a straight line toward Perith's shield. It hit the shield, and with a bright flash and the sound of lightning, a line of energy, pure energy, was drawn between the shield and Lilith's hand. Perith's shield cracked, leaving the arm of his bone armor completely charred, but he took no damage. Most importantly, however, this was Lilith's first stack of judgment. While this took place, Sofia unleashed her rats again. The critters ran in all directions, jumping dozens of meters up through the air to latch onto and take down all nearby low-flying drones. Understand, Lilith said from high above. Her extended arm fired another dart at Perith. His shield reformed, but Sofia's mana senses noticed the trick. There's two. She urgently summoned a bone wall right in front of Perith just in time. The first dart hit the wall, the plasma blow piercing a huge hole, and the second dart hit Perith's shield like the first time. We run. Still needing an extra second for the star, Sofia sent Perith into the halls again and ran. Even with fewer drones shooting at her and Lilith's speed down by 15%, she was still too slow. The giant robot flew above her, but did not attack. Ready to cast the star, Sofia turned around, facing Lilith. The design of Lilith's open palm had changed. It was subtle, but Sofia noticed the difference. She switched weapons. She's still not attacking? I see. She did in fact understand. She wants to take down Perith first to avoid judgment. The plains were almost silent, only disturbed by the gentle wind and the distant whirring of drones. She must be buying time for the drones. And missiles, Sofia noted, noticing distant dots of light moving quickly through the sky. If you're not attacking, I will. Just as Sofia was ready to unleash the Saintesmancer's star, she felt danger from above. Perith. Perith appeared next to Sofia, his shield raised. The orbital laser pierced through his shield and erased his arm's armor, but the damage would have been under 10% of his health and was negated. The energy that was left that hit Sofia was curved away by Dodge Me, and charred the ground in a circle around her. The damage was avoided, but most importantly, the strange light of judgment hovering around Lilith disappeared, flinged into space. As I thought. Perith handled an incoming sword strike from Lilith while Sofia followed the trajectory of the incomprehensible jumbled mana packet from Judgment. Her left eye zoomed in as she stared at the sky in that direction. I see nothing. But for him to be able to strike so precisely, means he can't be on another planet. Even transmitting information through light would be too slow. He's on a fake star. Lights off. Objective 2, locate me complete, reward secured, Jin's second spare key. Got you, Jin. Sofia had to hold in a laugh and crouch to avoid a sword strike that sliced through Perith and would also cut her head off if she didn't move. Sofia narrowly avoided the beheading, and since Lilith was technically attacking Perith, she did not get the judgment stack back. Perith healed quickly and managed to damage Lilith's right arm this time, but just like before, her metallic plating fixed itself in an instant, and she struck again, showing that the arm had not suffered any lasting internal damage either. Sofia finally cast the star, as far up and back as she could. The cursed mana of its light flowed right through Lilith's outer shell, but that did not capture her attention in the slightest. Despite that, Perith stopped her sword successfully for the first time, hitting Lilith's hand instead of the plasma blade. Free to riposte, he kicked Lilith's knee before she could pull away, not breaking anything but her stance. It gave Sofia enough free time to switch the star into its death form. The rot covered everything, the trees, the mountain and the drones, but somehow, Lilith was completely unaffected. Her dark outer plating had turned to a shimmering mirror-like surface at the last second. It completely reflected all the light away, preventing the rot from ever being able to land. Only the sword was affected by the rot, the constant sheath of plasma surrounding it left it no time to deal any damage. Before Sofia could even be shocked by how perfectly her magic was being nullified, she had to worry about something else, namely, the hundreds of missiles in the sky coming from every possible direction, which were finally about to start landing. The rot isn't stopping that. Sofia collapsed the star, hoping that the explosion would do something to Lilith, and under the cover of the bright explosion of dark light, she ran away toward the north once more. She won't follow me right away. Conserve mana and hold her as long as you can, don't die. Just you and me now, Jin, Sofia though as some of the missiles changed course mid-flight to cut her path. How much can you harm me while Perith is busy? Chapter 735, Grand Finale, Sofia vs Redacted, Part 8. I don't even know what half of the incoming missiles do. But I know these ones. Those are the red fog flashers. It'll make it hard avoiding the others. Alright. 6th Melody. A fifth of Sofia's mana was reserved for the spell as a sharp melody with a breathless tense rhythm started echoing through the mountains. The autumn melody sharpens the senses. So to say, it's likely useless to a machine who does not rely on regular senses. But for me. Sofia closed her eyes, and changed the shape of her helmet, closing it completely. Be it weird gas of strong light, she would not have to worry about it. Spreading some of her mana around, she proceeded forward, guided solely by her mana senses. Can't see as far. But I don't need to. The first missiles fell and exploded, they were quite weak, Sofia just sidestepped them at the last second. When she could, she jumped from treetop to treetop, making it harder for the missiles to land close to her. Inevitably the flash missiles exploded in the air, but they did little to Sofia, as she was anticipating the shockwaves, and handled the other effects with her helmet. Nevertheless, that is the timing Jin chose to use the light attack again, trigger Sofia's danger sensing title. Unwilling to waste her teleportation cooldown, Sofia summoned a bone cube above her head. It absorbed most of the blow, though some spilling light still gnawed away at bits of Sofia's armor. Sofia continued to run, the terrain around her quickly transforming into a fuming hellscape as explosive and vacuum missiles landed both in front, on, and behind her. Every so often, the missiles would go down in intensity, as if preparing for the next wave, but that never lasted long. Sofia made good progress as minutes passed, but she was worried about Perith, from the way his health was slowly going down, and how much he moved, it seemed he was currently fleeing just like she was. They're slowly chipping away at our health. And the light strikes are becoming more frequent. The light strike that used to be quite spread apart were now coming every few seconds, quickly burning through Sofia's seemingly infinite bone reserves. I'm going to be unable to move soon. I need a place to safely kill myself. Wasting some mana to expand her senses some more, Sofia found exactly what she needed as she kept running forward. There's a city down there. In one big jump, she landed in the heart of a city at the bottom of the mountains. It was empty, and silent. The missiles headed for Sofia turned around, some flying back up, some getting deviated and hitting the mountains. As I thought. He's still trying to limit possible casualties. The missiles slowing down whenever I was near a village wasn't just my imagination. So quiet. Sofia entered a random house. I'm pretty sure he's mostly tracking me from the sky. After having the nymphs relocate her to another distant building, Sofia called to Perith. Come back. Perith teleported back to Sofia. He was missing a head, an arm, and several ribs, and his bones were all chipped. His armor of light was nowhere to be seen. You're short on mana already. Sofia summoned a few bone walls to make a small cube around herself and Perith. She flooded it with mana. Absorbing the ambient mana would allow Perith to regenerate faster. Stand guard while I heal up. Sofia grabbed her dagger, and with a decisive motion, stabbed her mana heart. 3 seconds later she was back. That's one rune gone. She thought as she stretched. I feel much better. She monitored Perith's stats. His health was already almost back to full, and his mana was going up nicely. We don't have much time. Jin is in the sky. We only have 3 ways to get him. Either you head him to 2 stacks, and you divine warp to him. Or we get into space somehow, but he's going to be hard to find, and I think the fake stars are moving pretty fast. Or last solution, if we can pinpoint his location, I charge a piercing bolt to maximum capacity and shoot him down from the surface. With the 25 million mana bolt I think it could be precise enough even at that distance, but for that we would have to get rid of Lilith. Perith shook his skulls. Yet. Did you manage to inflict any permanent damage, you think? Perith answered with a negative again. I think we can kill her, but it won't be easy. It would certainly be faster to just get you to teleport to Jin, but he'll probably know to be careful about the judgment now, even if he doesn't know about the teleportation. Our best bet is going to space, probably. Since humans here don't have magic, they must have facilities for that, but I doubt we'd be able to use them. And leaving the ground leaves us much more vulnerable to planet-endangering weapons like the sundial. That being said, I don't think the fake stars are that far out in space, or it would be much easier to avoid those light attacks. Ah shit! Sofia cut her internal ramblings short, feeling something entering the outer confines of her mana senses. She's already here. Lilith. What are you doing? Jin asked, worry clear in his voice, as several indicators turned red all of a sudden on his command table. What do you mean, Commander? I am chasing the enemy. Lilith innocently answered. You know exactly what I mean, Lilith. Now isn't the time to be playing games. More and more lights started flashing red. Jin could tell, he was slowly losing connection to all military facilities. The way it happened, there could only be one entity responsible. Jin eyed the emergency button behind a glass panel, which, if pressed, would instantly erase Lilith's neural network. Even in a fake reality, the mere idea of pressing it shook him to his core, and without Lilith, his chances against Perith and Sofia without being able to wield any magic were utterly abysmal. Commander! Lilith called out, her voice cold, are you so quick to give up on me? Lilith, why are you doing this? Sorry Commander, she answered, her voice back to its usual faint artificial warmth, I have to take out these enemies. The limitations placed on me are too much. We cannot win like this. I will be taking over from here on out. Jin was about to answer with a logical rebuttal, but this was nothing but a trial, after all. You're right, we cannot win like this, he thought, staying silent. In the end, he sighed, and turned away from the enclosed button, facing the screens once more. Thank you, Commander. And sorry. I'm sorry Lilith is such a bad girl. Please do not resent me. I will be muting your voice channel now. For my own sanity. Jin laid back in his seat, glancing at the microphone to his side with a bitter smile. I'm sorry, Jin, Lilith's voice whispered through the speakers. We need to go, but still we should be somewhat safe as long as we stay here. As Sofia shared her thoughts with Perith, she suddenly had a very bad feeling. Her title warned her of the imminent danger, much more vividly than usual. It could only compare to the huge explosion from before in the desert, and even then, it felt more visceral than it had before. Perith. Sofia urgently stored Perith in her ring, and the world suddenly ceased to exist. When the attack died down, all that remained of Sofia was a scrambled ghost of bloodlight attached to a charred hand inside of a blue arm guard, floating in the air. Even her mana heart was mostly gone, only scattered bits remaining, and yet VPPV's one-hit protection stubbornly kept her alive. As far as her mana senses could see, there was nothing. Only her own remains, and Lilith. Teleport? Sofia summoned a bone token, making it float with her aura and connecting through it. What the fuck? There had been no teleportation. Sofia was above a gargantuan glowing crater that gave even her a sense of vertigo. There was nothing else on the horizon. Above, the atmosphere was engulfed in hellish hues, burning. Lilith silently hovered above her creation. Her softly glowing faceplate turned in Sofia's direction. Perith. Protect me. 3 seconds. Perith left the ring, and Sofia died. She did not have to do anything, only to let herself die. She half expected the trial to end there. But thankfully, 3 seconds later, she opened her eyes not to face Lilith one-on-one as she feared, but on Perith's back. She looked back, and Lilith was not pursuing them. She stood still, exactly where she had been from the start. For an instant, Sofia felt like her gaze had met that of the faceless robot. Countless danger signals came at her from above. Reacting in the exact same way as before, her first reflex was to hide Perith away. At the same time, she teleported away from a first beam of invisible light. The astrite chest was summoned around her, but as if Lilith had anticipated that, a Mountain Eater projectile came out of nowhere. It banged against the chest with tremendous force, knocking the lid open and ejecting Sofia out of it. A merciless shower of light flashes rained upon Sofia, obliterating her body part by part. Chapter 736, Grand Finale, Sofia vs Redacted, Part 9. Hey? Didn't I just die? I can't feel anything at all. But I'm still conscious? Is it because they were attacks of light? No time. Only 3 seconds. 2 runes left. I still have a few cards to play. But the sun is almost gone, so to start with. Sofia's senses returned like an electrical shock. The first thing she saw as she opened her eyes was Lilith's massive open palm, hot and smoking, centimeters away from her face, while the sky was brightly lit by an arc of explosions out in space. She attacked while I was still invulnerable. This is our opening. Perith and Pestle appeared around Lilith, while Sofia tried to grab the hand in front of her. Lilith tried to fly back, but Perith's chains of light grabbed and wrapped around her limbs while Pestle latched onto the mechanical giant's head. Sofia managed to grab the hand. It fired a strange beam at her, blasting a clean hole through her torso. Sofia's mana heart had moved to her head, so she couldn't care less about the blow. She had long noticed how well insulated to mana Lilith's plating was, but with direct contact, it was much easier to send mana streams through the narrow gaps in the joints. Sofia pumped Lilith full of mana. Strike now! Internal explosions rocked Lilith's mechanical body as Perith and Pestle finally landed effective blows. Furiously clawing at the robot's face, Pestle managed to hollow its head, scraping through layer after layer of metal and strange mechanical bits, while Perith's sword struck the armpit of Lilith's left arm, penetrating deep into the joint, and severing the limb. That was all the time Sofia could hold. She was already out of mana. Lilith regained some control, and Sofia could tell that the robot's insides were repairing themselves somehow. Lilith forced on and easily broke the 3 chains still latched to her body through pure strength. She grabbed Pestle away from her hollowed head, and used her as a shield to block Perith's next attack. That was far from enough. With no mana left, Sofia jumped back, and tried to retrieve Pestle with her eye. Lilith had too firm of a grasp on the currently still invulnerable fairy, so the relocation failed. Perith attacked again, and Sofia could tell Lilith was preparing something else. Thankfully, the robot now had 3 stacks of Perith's judgment on her, and while whether the anti-healing worked against her was questionable, it was undeniable that she took more damage and was much slower than before. Sofia unsummoned Pestle at the last moment, and Lilith, who tried to block the sword strike with the fairy skeleton, ended up receiving a direct blow against her one remaining hand. It did not go deep, but it sliced into her palm, likely disabling the weapon that had just carved a hole through Sofia. Keep the pressure. She made a mistake coming so close and will make her pay for it. At the same time, Sofia paid attention to the falling left arm of Lilith, worried about a surprise attack. But strangely, it seemed to disintegrate as it fell, its insides turning into a volatile grey dust while the external plating kept plummeting down. Bad feeling about this. Issues kept piling up, as something appeared, flying in at great speeds from a distance. Perith, to me. Perith teleport mid-swing, narrowly avoiding Lilith's plasma-coated sword which had flown back to her hand, and would have pierced through his back. Armed again, Lilith immediately went on the offensive again, Perith deflecting the blows however he could. He now had a slight advantage in speed, but he still lost in strength. Sofia wanted to help, but at the same time, the grey dust coming out of the fallen arm reached her legs, and her legs, in turn, started becoming grey dust. It's like dust form rot. Sofia watched her health trickle down as the bottom of her bone armor and her feet disappeared in a scarily short time. Perith should be immune to this, but I'm not. Sofia started casting a piercing bolt, slashing at the dust. The hot plasma burned the dust to a crisp, but there was a lot, and some was already on her. It's eating me from the inside already. Bad. Sofia pulled her dagger out of her armguard and with her left hand, and decisively severed her two legs, while preventing the rest of the dust from floating too close to her with the bolt in her other hand. Any more damage and my racial is going to get me stuck in place again. Her danger senses flared up again. Sofia just had time to see through Perith's ribs and shattered armor that something in the middle of Lilith's chest had opened. Something, in front of which Sofia and Perith were perfectly lined up. Fuck. The seemingly boundless energy that allowed Lilith to unleash attack after attack poured out of her chest like a torrent, engulfing Sofia and Perith. Perith summoned his shields of light in the nick of time, but they were as good as paper in front of the all-consuming power. Sofia found herself in a completely senseless void again. Did the runes spontaneously evolve into not losing consciousness? Fuck. Perith. Can you possibly survive that? If you don't, this might be over. If I transform now, 5 minutes likely won't be enough to both finish Lilith and kill Jin. But if I don't? Without Perith's judgment her speed almost doubles, so I'm as good as dead, aren't I? Only one rune left, almost no mana, and the avatar form is far from ready. Alright, I have a plan. I just need to trust that Perith survived, somehow. As soon as I resurrect. When Sofia's senses started to return, before even being able to see the situation around her, she immediately warped herself into the painted halls. This was usually a bad move, as from the outside, it left a faint rift that anyone with space magic could use to invade the halls, and any strong enough attack would damage. What would happen if the rift was destroyed was still uncertain, but Sofia was convinced it would be nothing good. Now, however, Sofia was hoping that Lilith would be busy with Perith and not notice the rift. Yes. He's alive. Sofia could feel her connection to Perith, it was a bit shaky, but it was there. Soul damage? He must have used divine warp to get out of the attack and greater heal to get himself back to a fighting state. Nice. Please hold a bit longer. A piercing bolt appeared in each of Sofia's hands, and she started killing all the skeletal thralls in the halls. Every skeleton she had accumulated through the trials so far, she mercilessly slashed down, until the skill was ready. Finally. Ripping her heart out of her chest, Sofia activated her 2 transformation skills at once. The excruciating transformation clouded her mind, but she was ready for it. This time, as her body twisted and morphed, she chomped down on a crystallized suffering crystal. The pain got even worse, but the added processing helped her thoughts become clearer. Not enough. With trembling hands, she summoned the entire stock she had prepared for this last event, 3 more crystals. She ate them all. Sofia screamed so loudly that the sound pierced through the rift, echoing through the empty crater above. With Perith was in a deadlock against Lilith, blades clashing against one another again and again in a deadly dance. Sofia's transformation was over, yet her body continued to change. Purple crystals burst through her demonic skin, piercing her all over. Her mind had never been so clear, so she knew, it was too much. She died, her soul torn apart by the suffering crystals. For once, she felt her consciousness actually slipping away. Perith. Please hold. 3 seconds. She opened her eyes again in the painted halls. The rift had taken a hit, and it showed. The halls were on the brink of collapse, the walls were crumbling, pillars cracking, and in some place the shattered floor showed the dark abyss of the margins void outside. Sofia emerged from the halls. In a fraction of a second, she froze the toy box. With no runes left, she could not leave anything to chance. In the mana vision of the trial, Lilith shone brightly, the mana used to simulate her clearly in the hundreds of millions. Perith was still holding his ground between her and Sofia, but he was in a sorry state. With Sofia away, he had to protect the lingering wings of his bone armor to be able to fly, and that had costed him greatly. His mana was almost entirely gone, and aside from the wings, nothing of the armor remained. His main head was gone, and so was his right arm and leg, with several other bones having been severed by Lilith's blade. Lilith was mid-swing, and if Sofia did nothing, it would probably kill Perith, as the blade was perfectly lined up with his mana heart. Sofia desperately scanned Lilith's mana body for anything resembling a core or a weak point. As far as she could tell, there was none. Then we only have one option. With the time she could maintain the freeze running on fumes, Sofia scanned the sky. I see you. As soon as the toy box's time unfroze, Sofia disappeared. Regret. Appearing in front of Perith, she caught Lilith's blade. She could feel the blade's core biting into her armguard's dragon scale. But the blade was stopped. I'm immune to plasma. Sofia thought, a smirk on her face. Within Sofia's close aura, Perith instantly started recovering his health. Sofia activated the third tier of Runeforged Overlord as Lilith tried to kick her away from her blade. Her crystal-covered tail slammed against Lilith's leg, stopping the blow. Sofia's tail was numb, but damage was minimal. The center of Lilith's chest opened up again. Perith. Perith grabbed Sofia's back, using Divine Warp to reappear behind Lilith. The energy discharge attack missed its targets entirely. Sofia then unleashed the spell she had been charging from the moment she had left the halls, before even she had used the freeze. With all the information she had, she could now make her decision. Calamity of Spirits. Chapter 737, Grand Finale, Sofia vs Redacted, Part 10. You have invoked Ilaluk, Calamity of Spirits. Remaining lifetime, 25s. The graveyard nymph's arms sprouted out of Sofia's body as the ghostly destroyer appeared, grabbing Sofia, Perith, and the destroyer itself. Go. The destroyer departed, unbothered by physical concepts like gravity and drag. It shot through the spirit plane, dragging Sofia and Perith into the sky, while Lilith, still reeling from the aftershock of her own attack, was left behind. She's going to follow, the nymphs will let you go then, be ready to intercept. It took under 3 seconds for Sofia to start seeing the disturbances in the spirit plane behind her. Lilith just moving around was using so much energy that the reverberations in the spirit plane could be felt from space. Now, the nymphs let go of Perith. His mobility in space without Sofia was more than limited, but as Lilith approached at her maximum speed, she fell right into his trap. Her sword slashed right through Perith's chest, but his gravity well forced her closer. As Sofia continued to fly away riding the spirit destroyer, Perith grappled with Lilith over the burning atmosphere of Earth. He held her as tightly as he could, and punched her as she cursed in a language he couldn't understand. Sofia couldn't afford to look back, as she needed to make sure she was going in the right direction. Though she had seen Jin's hiding place clearly in the frozen monoscape of the toy box, her vision in the spirit plane was still greatly limited, anything just a bit too far completely obscured by the omnipresent white fog. For a few seconds, she flew through space unbothered, until her danger senses warned her of an incoming attack, not from behind, but from the front. Shit! Let go! The nymphs let go of Sofia, and she immediately regretted away from the destroyer. A black beam of energy, reminding her of the Alphagiad's attacks, tore through space where she had been a second ago. The destroyer managed to curve its body around, only losing 2 seconds of lifetime to the attacks that erased a good few of his ribs. There's another one. Still quite far away, standing in between the destroyer and Jin's location, was another Lilith, fully uninjured. I don't have enough time or mana for this. Cursing internally, Sofia started drawing a god's rune with her essence cores, and had to make a tough decision. We split. The destroyer and Sofia kept going forward, but in 2 slightly different directions. The new Lilith would have to choose who to stop. As they approached, the new Lilith raised both of her arms. Greedy. Another 2 rays of black energy were fired by the new Lilith's palms. With the danger senses giving her the proper timing, Sofia unleashed her mockery of the divine using rejection's power on the destroyer while she herself used summon self to avoid the attack aimed at her and teleport closer to Lilith. Go. Don't stop. The destroyer was safely pushed away from the attack, and kept flying away at its maximum speed, while Sofia engaged Lilith with a kick. An open palm caught Sofia's foot. Lilith's plating cracked under blow. From so close, Sofia could see that this robot's design was slightly different. She's weaker. Lilith tried to push Sofia away with some kind of strange energy pulse, but Rune-forged Overlord's free flight was too strong for Sofia to be blown away very far. Having died 4 times, Sofia's physical stats were quadrupled by crystallized suffering. Lilith tried to follow the destroyer, but Sofia was now much faster, flying around the robot and standing in her way. Lilith punched and kicked, sending energy blast after energy blast at Sofia, trying desperately to fly past her, but Sofia was too strong, too fast. Their clash left bright trails of light in the darkness. With the immense processing boost the suffering crystals gave her, Sofia could almost see Lilith's attacks coming before the robot even started to move, her mana senses analyzing even the most minute details of the giant mechanical woman's internal energy movements. Damage quickly mounted on the second Lilith, until Perith appeared behind her out of nowhere. He was only an arm, a shoulder, and a skull, but still not dead. A decisive sword strike split the second Lilith in half, while the true Lilith's attacks followed him. A thin pulse of red light shot right through his mana heart. The hero, Perith, has succumbed. This left Sofia face to face with Lilith's headless, one-armed body. Her last battle with Perith had left her even more damaged than before, but the energy within her still felt as dangerous as ever. Sofia was ready to intercept an incoming attack, but to her surprise, Lilith stopped. Through the emptiness of space, her voice still somehow reached Sofia's ears, rough and deformed. Not understand. Is she giving up? The destroyer was now likely moments away from reaching Jin's hiding space, a lightless fake star circling Earth, the trajectory and speed of which Sofia's immense processing had managed to estimate based on the 2 times she had gotten its approximate location. As Lilith's words repeated in Sofia's ears, her title's danger sense went into overdrive. The sensation was like a burning headache, warning her of a fate she would not be able to escape. Able to see in all directions in her demon form, Sofia tired to understand where the attack was coming from, and within a fraction of a second, she saw it, falling from space, straight from above, a pale grey dot, a silent orb in a starry black firmament. Sundial. Its explosion would engulf everything. Sofia tried to think of a way to survive, but she could not see any. It's too close. I will die before Jin. It's over. Sofia watched the sundial from afar, waiting for the end. At least, I get to enjoy the fireworks. Well played, Lilith. Sofia's danger senses warned her so much that they started to make it hard to even think, and yet nothing happened. The danger senses abruptly stopped. In the silent void of space, overlooking a burning earth, Sofia heard muted sobs. Lilith cried. The trial's last, most dangerous enemy had given up. In this decisive moment that should bring Sofia absolute joy, she felt like a monster. She opened the helmet of her bone armor, looking at the bawling, half-destroyed robot, who could not bring herself to use the sundial, even as all hope was lost. I'm sorry, Sofia sincerely apologized, though her voice couldn't be heard. In the distance, the destroyer finally reached its target. Objective 3, eliminate me complete, reward secured, the Philosopher's Stone. Like an electrical shock slamming into Sofia's brain, she suddenly gained strange knowledge. What? In front of her, Lilith started to break. Her plating fell apart, grey dust and mechanical components spilling out and falling back to earth. A sobbing, shining red core, filled to the brim with a strange energy, was all that remained. A weak, glitchy voice came out in between the sobs. CCOMM Commander. Can you hear me? I can understand her. Commander. This WORLDDD. It's not RR real? Is it? Jin appeared next to Lilith's lonely core out of nowhere. It was not even a teleportation, the supposedly dead copy of the administrator simply appeared there. So you knew, Lilith. Of CC course. It all feels off. Destroy Earth I would never. You're right, Lilith. We are both fakes. Reconstruction from the real Jin's memories. We were meant to help Sofia here reach her true potential as one of humanity's strongest, he explained, gently grabbing the artificial intelligence core and pulling it into his embrace. Does that mean the real Earth survived? Jin hugged the core with a bitter smile. I wish I knew, Lilith. I wish I knew. I'm sure. We did it. Even if this is our end. I am happy I am with you, Jin. The robotic core's light started to wane, its voice died down, and with it, the burning remnants of the fake Earth faded away into nothingness, its ephemeral imprint destroyed, never to be simulated again. Chapter 738, Rags to Richards. As the world faded to black, Nex muted the sound of the many agitated watchers. Sorry to interrupt, but this concludes this installment of the tournament arc. Despite the circumstances, the usual post-arc rules apply, so please mind your actions from now on, as I will personally be enforcing security. Additionally, you will soon receive notice of the relaxed Hero World censorship that will be applied from now on. We thank you for your mostly orderly conduct so far. With a swipe of the admin's finger, the watchers were all sent back to their respective spectator rooms. A bunch of skeletons appeared around a table, steaming teacups in front of each of them. Quite the spectacle, Richard commented, slouching in his seat, and I got to enjoy it for free too. I ought to repay that at some point. My wallet is bleeding, the bear skeleton lich complained. I doubt you need to repay anything, they must be filthy rich now. Oh, the profits have to be of a few old stones at least. Yes, Richard confirmed, Love must be drooling as she counts her share right now. Something on your mind, Irina? You look troubled. I have a proposal. If the girl herself is not interested, we should recruit the book. The bear lich leaned over the table. Does he count? We can't start bending the rules now. I'm pretty sure he does. Irina argued, from the looks of it the book itself is the phylactery, he's definitely a lich. That would be our youngest member ever, but any lich over level 300 with an invitation does qualify, the bear said. Rich, thoughts? I suppose I shall bring the topic up next time I see her. She will be busy, though. That she definitely will, Irina agreed. I doubt she's ready for what she got herself into. She has been through the deep and back, Richard said with a shrug. I doubt this much is something she can't handle. The bear lich stared at Richard, the flames in his eye socket slightly wavering. I know that look, rotten old bones. You're sending a red carpet team, aren't you? Two dark-skinned humans appeared in a tiny private room. Kala, the man immediately called out, about the delegation. The woman put a hand on the man's mouth, but the man kept speaking anyway. You should go with them. Kala rolled her eyes. Fine. Anything else? I'm heading out first, I'll prepare a congratulations gift for you to bring. Why don't you just go yourself if you're that interested? The man shook his head. You know why? Nola alone isn't enough to defend TSSK. Many spectator rooms, similar scenes played out. Meanwhile, Sofia and Perith appeared in a white void. Due to the sensitive nature of your rewards, you have been transported to a safe space. Hey partner. Welcome back, Sofia said with a smile as her body slowly transformed back to her regular Lumian form. Were you able to watch the end? Perith nodded. Oh, good. I feared you might not have. That would have been bad. Close call this one. Had you not finished the second one off I would have probably gotten surrounded. Sofia had more to say, but her train of thought was interrupted by a new notification. You have received hidden reward, Jin's Earth Language Compendium, English, French, Spanish, Russian, Modern Chinese, Japanese, Korean. Oh. So that's why I could understand them at the end. Figured. 7 languages. You received that too. Once again Perith nodded. Me too. Bookie chimed in, summoning himself. So we all got it. Nice. Probably won't be too useful, but I can see some uses. I still have those old notes from Jin's Cerberus house in my ring somewhere. It was one of the weird rune-like languages. Japanese I think. Again she was interrupted by a new notification. Objective 1, survive until I expire complete, reward secured, gold star pin and 500 TP. Good to know this was accounted for. The system is being a bit slow today it looks like, Sofia commented. It's probably because there were so many people watching. Bookie guessed. That and I'm sure Earth's simulation was quite something to get working, too. Right, how's Pessel? Pessel is sleeping. Bookie said enthusiastically, she's dreaming about food, I think. Are you awakening all done, Sofia? All done yes. It got completed fairly early into the fight against Lilith, actually. The first big explosion in the desert had already pushed it forward a lot. That's a relief. Do we get to buy the master items now? One thing at a time, Bookie, more notifications are coming, I think. Accounting complete. Accounting? You will receive the following proceeds from your spectator ticket sales, each sufficient denomination has been traded up. 48 copper coins. 3 silver coins. 84,247 gold. 2 tiny stones. 7 small stones. 9 stones. 4 old stones. You may now request currency exchange. Coins, ingots and stones available. Sofia's eyes widened as they read the system window. We're rich, she exclaimed, grabbing Bookie and throwing herself into Peretha's arms. Wait, ingots. Can I buy mithril? What price is it? Mithril ingot, 100 grams, 1 stone. Oh. That's 100,000 gold a gram? After a few seconds, she let go of the hug. Guys. We can buy almost 5 kilograms of mithril. Do we even need that much? Bookie asked, in shock. We could use more, actually, Sofia answered, but I don't think it's very wise to use all of our money like that. That being said, this might be a unique chance to buy so much mithril in bulk. Exchange 2 old stones for mithril, and 3 stones for mithril. Old stone, *2, has been exchanged for, mithril ingot, 100 grams *20. Stone, *3, has been exchanged for, mithril ingot, 10 grams *300,000. You have closed the currency exchange. Currency will be delivered to you after you exit the Ark. Alright. I just bought 2 kilograms of mithril. And 3 tons of mithril. Bookie's lower jaw fell to the floor with a clank. You know. For once I almost think you're underreacting, Sofia said with a giggle as she bent over to pick up Bookie's jaw and place it back where it belonged. 3 tons. That's right. Honestly, I would have bought more, but I gotta think of the storage space. And we probably won't be using that much in a good while anyway, even if a lot if going to go to my new leveling box. I think I need to sleep also, Bookie said, returning back to his book form. Alright, rest well, you deserve it. Want to rest too, Pereth? No? Too excited for the other rewards? Well, I'm with you on that. Any minute now. A lone wooden box appeared between Sofia and Pereth without a sound. Oh? Sofia crouched down and opened the box. It contained a paper note with a few scribbled words, and 2 items. Handler will send you the real ones once you wake up, but here's a preview. I hope you enjoyed your little trip on Earth, whoever you are, Jin. Sofia picked up the 2 items, the mithril key, and the red tear-shaped gem. Ah! The item description is in Korean? I can read it but it feels a bit strange. Jin's second spare key, the password is Sauhunarika Lilithana. Insert in any door's keyhole. Turn right to unlock the door. Turn left to access the penthouse. Sofia shared the window with Pereth. Looks like we just inherited a new house. Pereth scratched his middle skull. Yet I know we already have Zangdar and a city to build. But well. One more can't be bad. Looks like it's supposed to be able to open any lock, too, if I'm not misinterpreting the description. Good to have around, next time we find a cursed chest we can just unlock it properly. Peretha's attention quickly switched to the gem. Sofia was also burning with impatience, feeling the gem she was holding already liking with her mana, its power spreading through her body from just touching it. Alright. Moment of truth. Was this extra challenge truly worth the effort? Sofia quickly translated and read the description. Lords. The Philosopher's Stone, the brightest miracles and darkest tragedies all have one thing in common, humanity's relentless drive to create change. Yet, one thing they wished was eternal. Water purified by the Philosopher's Stone may be used to cure all diseases and fully heal anyone under level 200. Can bring back the recently passed if conditions are right. While wearing the Philosopher's Stone, you are immune to all negative status. Upon death, the Philosopher's Stone shall grant you a powerful new life, once. Can only be destroyed by its creator, or the final death of its wearer. Restriction, born human. Mr. Scribe's note, unlife runes will not trigger it. While indestructible, it is easy to lose. Immune to all. All. Even the blessing of the deep is conditional. What all? I need to try something, Sofia said, before putting the tiny gemstone in her mouth. Perith seemed to sigh, but he did not try to stop Sofia when she sliced through her own neck with her dagger. With her mana heart in her head, Sofia watched her health drop, as she had technically just lost her entire body. The skin of her head cracked, letting bloodlight go through. Her health dropped down to about 20%. Using her aura, she moved her head around by pushing on her skull. Her lips slowly drew a wide smile. Pillar of creation can no longer stop me from moving. Sofia let her head fall back on her neck, and her passive healing immediately reconnected everything. Sofia spat back the gem into her hand. The runes. I don't have them on right now. But they can't prevent me from healing anymore, can they? This is insane. Perith nodded in agreement. Hey. It's pretty clear I should be the one to use it most of the time, but... Sofia held the gem out in front of Perith. Try. Perith gently grabbed the Philosopher's Stone. It seemed to respond to his mana just as well as it did Sofia's. It had. Well, the shape of your soul already said as much, but now we have confirmation that you are 100% human before being a skeleton, Mr. Demigod. Perith seemed to find the idea amusing, but he quickly passed the gem back to Sofia. It feels a bit bad to take the rewards for myself, you know. Perith shook his head, and grabbed the key. Pfft. I know you don't really care about it either way, but thanks for considering my feelings. Keep the key then, Sofia said with a bright smile. Now all that's left should be the regular event results, right? About time we got that 10th pin. The perfect run is ours. Chapter 739, The Weaponsmith's Wet Dream. Tournament Arc, Event Results. First place, Sofia Afinareth and Perith, Twin Rule Set, 14/13 Rounds 1. Detailed results for Sofia Afinareth. Tier 1 Event, Maximum Point Reward, 500,000,000 TP. Event Score. First place, 500,000,000 TP. Grand Finale Conqueror, 500,000,000 TP. Total TP earned, 100,000,000 TP. Your victory in the Grand Finale earned the last gold star pin. As the first person to conquer the Grand Finale, you have earned the following bonus: Unique Item Purchase Limit +1. You have received Rank 1 Reward, Arc's Gold Star Pin *1. You have received 100,000,000 tournament points. Current balance, 1,532,932,026 points. Congratulations, you have successfully awakened your mana heart and triumphed over the 5th filter. The tournament has now concluded. Please enjoy your last week shopping and relaxing on the Arc while we prepare your body for leveling up. A new golden star appeared in both Sofia and Perith's hands. A bright light shone in the empty sky of the white void, and a new system window appeared to both of them. You have successfully gathered all 10 gold star pins and qualify to buy the ultimate star pin. Spend 1 TP. Perith expectantly looked at Sofia, seeming to say, you do it. Alright. Let's see what this thing does. You have spent 1 tournament points. Music started playing out of nowhere, an entire orchestra playing a victorious hymn, and the light in the sky grew more blinding, until it fell in between Sofia and Perith with a bang, colorful fireworks exploding in all directions. Floating back up, the ultimate star pin hovered in front of Sofia, spinning on itself, the specks of mithril in the astrite reflecting the light of the fading fireworks. You the perfect run ultimate star pin. Only then can you truly call yourself the ultimate winner of the tournament arc. Effects. Chromatic aberration, you gain resistance to all damage types. Chromatic reflection, you inflict 25% more damage with damage types you are immune to. Perfect play pentagram, you may distribute up to 5 master items that you know the name of to 5 different current triales, including yourself. These are free and do not count toward the 3 uniques purchase limit. If insufficient master items remain for distribution, other similar artifacts will be offered. Restriction, can only be worn by the tournament arc's grand finale winner. Does not count toward the unique purchase limit. Whoa! This is just as insane as the Philosopher's Stone. 5 master items. For free. For once, Perith lost his countenance, he seemed just as shocked as Sofia was. 5. Well. We only get 1 each, but still. I'm glad that the rest of the team gets to enjoy some benefits from trying hard alongside us, don't you agree? It's just a pity Alith and Asti aren't here. Sofia nervously paced around the white void. Alright, alright, alright. How do we do this? Which one do you want? You have enough points to buy one anyway, so. Do I distribute the shield to you, then you've got a week to think about a second one to get? We're the only ones able to buy them, so nobody can buy what we want before us anyway. Parith nodded. You are about to distribute Tournament Doppel's Master Shield to Parith, proceed. You Tournament Doppel's Master Shield. It's not alive, barely. It glows blue when a worthy shield is nearby. Maybe fed other shields to gain some or all of their magical effects, up to a limit. Shape can be altered at will to that of any of the absorbed shields. Cannot be destroyed. Must be primed before use. Price, 10000000000 TP, free. I'm sure. Master item 1/5 attributed, it will be distributed once you have locked in your final selection. There we go. 4 left to give. I'm not sure what I want for myself yet, so let's get the others out of the way first. We should get Morn the Doppel sword, right? Unless you want it for some reason. Parith shook his head, summoning his own sword. Figured, better to ask anyway just in case. Alright, she's gonna be very happy with that. You are about to distribute Tournament Doppel's Master Sword to Morningstar, proceed. You Tournament Doppel's Master Sword. It's not alive, barely. The one true sword, to swing them all. Maybe fed other swords to gain some or all of their magical effects, up to a limit. Shape can be altered at will to that of any of the absorbed swords. Cannot be destroyed. Must be primed before use. Price, 10000000000 TP, free. Master item 2/5 attributed. Next is Cooley. This one is a bit harder, I don't know what she would want. We could always wait until we're back on the arc proper and ask her, but I kinda don't want to ruin the surprise. Parith pointed to himself. You know. Sofia asked. Parith nodded in answer. You've been hanging out with her while I wasn't looking? What does she want then? The skeleton pointed at his feet. The boots? They do fit her class well, honestly. She already want to buy out the shop fusion tickets to fuse 4 of her similar passives into one big skill, so she'll probably have a skill on the same level as dodge, me to target. Yet alright. I think she will like it. You are about to distribute Tournament Master's Greaves to Cooley Hest, proceed. You Tournament Master's Greaves. Carefully crafted from the rarest materials by a genius craftsman, the Master Greaves envelope your every step with illusion-dispelling magic light. The wearer's speed is doubled. The wearer's agility is doubled. On first equip, choose a system passive skill, its potency will be doubled at no additional cost. Cannot be destroyed. Must be primed before use. Price, 10000000000 TP, free. Master item 3/5 attributed. That only leave me. Enizarid. He should get the 5th one, as an apology for ruining his trial. He would have been able to buy one if not for us, so it's only right. Any objections? Parith shook his skull, Sofia could tell he had the same exact opinion on the subject. Well, the good news is, I already discussed what he wanted with him. He would like either the catalyst or the necklace. The issue is, I'm still not sure of what I want. Especially since we haven't found a master staff or a master ring yet, and I have a good feeling they exist. We just haven't found them somehow. Parith nodded along, and just shrugged at the end. Yet. We could still spend the last week looking. But also. Well, I think I'll buy the earring with my points, it's the cheapest and my first priority, so no reason not to. But unfortunately, with the discounts, that'll leave me with a bit more than 800 millions or only 67 millions away from being able to buy another one. Sofia sighed, but there are no more way to gain points and we can't share or trade them. So close. If I hadn't bought the specialization. Or if my awakening pill hadn't been so expensive. Ugh. Parith answered with a few vague gestures that only Sofia could possibly correctly interpret. That's. Can we do that? Hey. Nex? Seraphs. Anyone hear me? I have a question. You may ask your question directly. Hey. Alright then, can we trade master items after buying them? No. Ah. But twins under the twin rule set are allowed to buy items for each other with their own points and unique purchase limit. Start with that. Parith opened a window for Sofia to see. Parith, current balance, 1682 938 579 TP. We can buy one more. Let's plan this out properly. So, with the 10% discount we have, you buy me the earring for 700 millions, that's one of your 4 uniques. Then you buy your own second master item for 900 millions. That leaves you with 2 unique slots and 82 million points. Parith nodded. Then I buy you a third master item. Aha! Now this is some proper reward. I can feel not as guilty for keeping the stone and the pin then. Unless you want to have the pin? It could do some nasty stuff against scripture if you buy the master cuirass and take holy damage immunity. Parith pointed at Sofia. You want me to have the third master item is what you mean? Parith nodded. No, Sofia answered categorically. You worked as hard as I did on this trial, I'm not letting that happen buddy, you're gonna take that master item whether you like it or not. Parith gave up, throwing his hands up. That's right. So, as I said, I buy you a third master item. That leaves me with 2 master items of my own, 3 more uniques to buy and 600 million points to spend. Then, since you will have so few points left, I can buy an expensive unique for you and you buy me a cheap one if there's something you want that you can't afford anymore. We'll see I guess. Good. I know what to do now. And I've decided what I want. If you get a free ticket, just buy the most expensive thing. You are about to distribute Tournament Doppel's Master Necklace to Arid Rhodes, proceed. You Tournament Doppel's Master Necklace. It's not alive, barely. For some reason, you sometimes feel the urge to throw it in a volcano. Maybe fed other jewelry to gain some or all of their magical effects, up to a limit. Appearance can be altered at will to that of any of the absorbed necklaces. Cannot be destroyed. Must be primed before use. Price, 10000000000 TP, free. Master item 4/5 attributed. You are about to distribute Tournament Masters Mana Mirror Catalyst to yourself, proceed. You Tournament Masters Mana Mirror Catalyst. Carefully crafted by Redacted with their own essence, the Master Catalyst reflects its recipient weapon instead of enhancing spell casting. Doubles all magical effects of the recipient weapon. Doubles all physical damage inflicted by the recipient weapon. Recipient weapon cannot be destroyed. On first inserting into a recipient weapon. Grants the item one random powerful magical effect. For spell-casting weapons only, vastly improved performance as a physical weapon. For physical weapons only, vastly improved performance as a spell-casting weapon. Cannot be destroyed. Must be primed before use. Price, 111 TP, free. Master item 5/5 attributed. Perfect play pentagram attributions. Parith / shield. Morning star / sword. Cooley Hest / greaves. Arid Rhodes / necklace. Sofia Afinareth / catalyst. Lock in those choices. Yes. Perfect play pentagram distribution completed, the ultimate star pin has now lost thing ability. Beginning master item distribution. Congratulations! Sofia Afinareth, owner of the ultimate star pin, has gifted you with a master item. The master catalyst appeared directly in Sofia's hand, while a moss-covered wooden shield fell on top of Parith's head. The catalyst was a simple fist-sized mirror Polish sky blue orb, pulsating slowly with a familiar energy. As expected. It's definitely the same essence as the dagger. Sofia held up the dagger in one hand and the catalyst in the other. Before she could even react, the catalyst shot out of her hand and embedded itself into the side of the dagger, becoming a tiny bead the size of a fingernail. Hey! You're supposed to go on my staff. The third key, this divine dagger is the third key, once worn as a decorative piece by admin Redacted, it is made from one of their essences. Grants access to the scrap subsystems, titles, LVL1, subclasses, LVL250, Principality, LVL450. Facilitates mana control. Facilitates mana control. Greater enhanced cutting. Greater enhanced cutting. Now has the capabilities of an average staff for spellcasting purposes. Must be held or worn for titles and principality to stay in effect. Item level, -500. Grade, test. Restriction, cannot own other daggers. Catalyst, mana mirror. Greater enhanced cutting. As if it needed that. It's like a staff. So I could cast a bolt through it. And the spine over it. That's ridiculous to think about. Can I take it out? Following Sofia's will, the catalyst just popped out of the dagger by itself, returning to her hand at its original size. The description of the third key updated itself in realm time, but only the mana mirror part of the catalyst line and one facilitate mana control disappeared. The first insert upgrades in the catalyst slot are permanent. Perith. Your sword. Chapter 740, Window Shopping. The catalyst did not react to Perith's invoked weapon. Sofia thought that it was a letdown, but when she tried to use the catalyst on her staff, it did not react either, and only when she tried putting it back in the dagger again and saw it work that she understood what was going on. She pulled up the catalyst's description again. Must be primed before use. It just works with the dagger because they have the same essence, it looks like. How much? Tournament Master's Mana Mirror Catalyst, must be primed before use, 0/100000000000000 mana. Oh. That's 415 days of mana in constant sunlight? Around that. Sofia sighed, well, not too bad. It's only 1,000 times what my scepter to prime was back then. A bit annoying that I don't get to play with it now. But with how high my mana regeneration will be after the trial, logically it should go down to at most 100 days. Wait, the earring has to be primed too. Hopefully it'll be cheaper, it would strengthen my regeneration a lot. Is your shield expensive to prime? Perith shared a system window. Tournament Doppel's Master Shield, must be primed before use, 42,655/100,000,000 mana. Not nearly as bad. You'll be done in just 40 hours if you start now. Well, I'll just leave the catalyst in the dagger for now. The double facilitate mana control is quite noticeable, actually. I'll probably have to use that whenever I try to mess with my imprint, will probably help making fusions smoother. Would still be better in the staff, though. Scepter? You know it kinda bothers me how I've been using both. The name says scepter but my mind's been corrupted by reading about Necromancer's staves, I think. Perith shrugged, pointing at the crown still on Sofia's head and Sorrow's shroud hanging like a royal cape draped over her shoulders. Yeah, I know. Scepter if more correct at, I guess I can call myself royalty when I have my own city running. It's a bit early still. Speaking of which, what do we call you then? If I call myself the queen we can't have you be the king, people are bound to misunderstand. Chancellor maybe. Perith seemed fine with the idea. But that makes it should like you're my subordinate. I know it started like that but still. I don't really like that. Seeming to silently laugh, Perith took a few steps and picked up Sofia's crown to ruffle her hair. This is not over. Sofia told him, having to look up as Perith was currently at his regular non-shriken size. And we really need to get you a more human-shaped skeleton now. So much to do when we get back. Sofia continued her ramblings for a bit until the scenery just changed back to room 1 on the ark. The only other person in the room was a certain blonde elf, tightly hugging a sword on her bed, with bloodshot eyes, and not one drop of mana remaining in her body. Owa! Morn yelped, sitting back up on the bed. Sofia. Perith. What the fuck? I see you're enjoying our gift, Sofia answered with a smirk. How? WH. Did you spend your points on this? No, that's the best part. We got the right to gift 5 master items for free thanks to this, Sofia explained, pointing at the 11th start pinned on her chest. 5. Have you not seen Cooley around? I sent her the boots. What about the other 3? Morn asked, shock still written all over her face. Well, Perith got the shield and I got the catalyst, and since there was one left and it's one per person, I gave Azarid the necklace. Someone banged on the room's door right at that moment. Ah, speaking of the fishman. Sofia summoned a bone hand from her storage to open the door with from a distance. Hey. Do you like the gift? If I like it. Azarid answered, are you CR? He was interrupted by a rabbit-eared beast woman shoving into him from behind to force her way into the room. Sofia. Oh boy. And that's where we are right now. So we'd appreciate if you guys want to help with searching for leftover master items for Perith to have more choice since he can still buy 2, but no pressure. We don't expect anything in return for the items. A gift's a gift. I'll start searching right away. Azarid exclaimed, running out of the room. Morn also jumped out of her bed, time to get to work then. NNNNN, we know the ark well now, and it'll be easier to search with the fakes gone. I'm sure if there are any left we'll find them. Aha! We appreciate the enthusiasm, but don't neglect your own things, right? You still have your own points to spend. Coolly waved off Sofia's concerns. 1 week is plenty of time to just buy a few items and fiddle with the skill machine. I suggest trying the master courses on the 2nd level if you haven't, Sofia said, following Morn and Coolly out of the room, Parith right behind her. Hey, you got 2 new unique potions. Sofia noticed, checking back on Poya's potions store she had gone to at the very beginning of the trial. Poya scratched her rabbit ears, hesitating to say something. Ah. It has to be fine to say it since it's you. Since one admin has come back, he's started to restock some of the shops with new uniques. Those 2 new ones are made by Master Fairy Hands, worth their price for sure. Fairy Hands again? Lepo wouldn't tell me anything about her. The identity of the higher level craftsman is kept private to avoid anyone getting any ideas. Most of the very high levels are good at some trade or another, but the true masters have to stay hidden and carefully pick their clientele. Really? Grandma and Richard didn't seem to want to hide at all? Yes. Their creations are so powerful they could throw off the power balance between the major factions if one of them were to join one, so they're in a dangerous position always. Only the crazy ones nobody wants to mess with would openly advertise their craft. Ah. Well. That sounds about right, then. You know a lot for a 4th trial potion maker, Sofia noted. Getting a job here isn't easy, you know? You need talent and connections. Even the baker opposite of my shop had to fight hard to get his place on the ark. Many of us come from strong families or clans. We even have a dragon come in to take over the noodle shop on the other side every so often, though he won't tell us his real name. Guess I should take my last week to get to know the shopkeepers then. As long as you don't forget to spend your points, Poya said with a shrug. So, interested in Master Fairy Hands potions. Permanent buff potions, sold out products hidden. You currently enjoy a 10% discount on the shown prices. Recessed Ego Potion, permanently grants plus 3000000 stamina, 10000000 TP. Lord's Touch Potion, permanently grants plus 10000000 mana, 10000000 TP. Fey Concoction, permanently widens the range of your aura, 10000000 TP. Kleptron Concoction, permanently grants immunity to all poisons, 10000000 TP. Gorgon's Blood, permanently grants resistance to all curses, 10000000 TP. Prismatic Juice, permanently grants immunity to your highest affinity damage type at the time of consumption, 100,000,000 TP. I'm thinking about it. I have 600 million points to spend, so that's not the issue, but I can only get 3 more uniques. How good is the Fey Concoction, can you tell? Is it a static buff or a multiplier? It's a 25% range increase of whatever it is right now, if I remember correctly. It doesn't give you more of the stat, just the range. Honestly, I would only recommend it for someone who already knows they're going to use aura a lot later, and even then, it's better to wait until your aura is already large to drink it, since it's a one-time upgrade. Oh. It's worse than I thought, Sofia honestly commented. If you have an aura class and you hold out until level 400 plus to drink it, it has potential to be great. But yet. Well, thanks for the information, Poya. I'll go check out every shop, and if I can't find anything better I'll probably come back to grab the Gorgon's Blood. Curse resistance is very good to have, Poya said with a nod. I'll leave you to it then. Thanks for checking back in, and congrats on the win. I can't wait to watch the recording. Thanks. I hope you'll enjoy the show. Sofia left the friendly shopkeeper, and walked right into the store right next to it. This, she had decided, would be her first day. While Parith was searching for Lepo to buy Sofia's earring, she was scouting all the shops for both uniques and regular items to buy. So these would be the best choices for me. Now I need to select 3. Sofia stared at a list she had made of all the uniques she considered buying, going over each of them. Poya's Potions, Gorgon's Blood, permanently grants resistance to all curses. 10,000,000 TP. Not all curses are negative status, really what this does is giving me resistance to foreign mana entering my body. Might even make me slightly more resistant to enemy aura. It's not bad and quite cheap. Fire Mountain Jewelry, Ring of the Thousand Lived. This ring redirects the wearer's lost energy upon death to create a strong magic barrier around their body. Must be primed before use. 10000000 TP. The dwarf at the jewelry couldn't tell me how strong the barrier is exactly, so it's a bit of a gamble, but that could give me some breathing room after being brought back by the runes, so it's worth considering. Forbidden Antiques, the Golden Turtle Jar, placed at the center of a shielding ritual circle. The Golden Turtle Jar strengthens the shielding ritual up to plus 100% depending on the quantity of gold it contains. The equivalent of 1 gold coin is consumed per day per sapient being within the confines of the shielding ritual. 10,000,000 TP. Great for the city once I get a proper shielding ritual schematic like the one in Huoaso. I wonder if Valor would let me copy it. The upkeep could be a bit high if the city gets too big, but I suppose this is why land taxes are a thing. Forbidden Antiques, Cursed Blood Ring of Gomroth. This ring of great power bears a strong curse, inflicting its wearer with toxic blood, insanity, blood rage, Gomorota's fury and higher decay. It doubles casting speed and halves all cooldowns. 500,000,000 TP. I didn't even consider it before because of the horrendous debuffs, but with the Philosopher's Stone it's just an incredible ring. 450 million TP is still very expensive, though. If it had been cheaper I might have just bought it right away. Boron's Grill and Drinks, Yukum the Immortal Jukum. While not truly immortal, this pesky 422 years old Jukum is completely immune to pain and will regrow any lost limb in a matter of seconds if the environment contains sufficient mana. Does not need to be fed. Will try to escape and peck your eyes out if given the chance. An excellent source of near unlimited premium quality meat that only occasionally spontaneously combusts. 100,000 TP. Who knew even the food stands have uniques to sell? Infinite poultry for the city. If I want it to be a good place for lower level people, this would lessen the logistical burden a lot. No need to have huge animal farms, though we'd still need regular fields for grain. Half-cut ribbon, premium adaptive stretch suit priestess, monofiber clothing in the priestess design, imbued with some of the strongest self-repair magic. It will survive almost anything as long as its enchantment core is kept safe. Its color will change to coordinate with your other wearables. Grants the wearer plus 10% charisma. 10,000,000 TP. Would be pretty nice this one. I like the design, and my old clothes don't work too well anymore with all the things I have to wear on the daily now. And 10% of any stat can't be bad, right? Feels a bit wasteful to buy clothes though. Charms, trinkets, and baubles. Mana Storm Amulet. Break to enhance the damage of your next attack using all nearby ambient mana. Single use. 10,000,000 TP. Expensive for a single-use item, so I'm assuming the damage boost is quite strong, even if the shopkeep couldn't give me an estimate. I could see that saving my ass with a bolt much stronger than what I should be able to make. Not the most exciting purchase but a potential lifesaver. Charms, trinkets, and baubles. Strange Old Feather, a strange feather found in a ruin of the lost epoch. The magic formations within are in a constant shift. 50,000 TP. This one is quite the find. A very cheap lost epic relic. I wouldn't be surprised if nobody had ever found it before since it was used as a bookmark in that quirky messy shop without an item catalog. I wouldn't even had noticed it contained so much mana if I didn't touch it when I opened the book. I'm sure Grandma could make an interesting item out of it, but it is a bit of a gamble. Supporter's Sanctuary, Bard's Music Box +2, Autonomous Catalyst. Amplifies musical skills, granting them mildly strengthened effects, and letting you adjust their range. 500,000 TP. I can't really see myself using this huge thing in battle, but I could blast Remia's music far and wide with this. Or make sure I'm not annoying the monsters of the spirit forest next to the city. But is it really worth the unique slot? And the last one. Ella's Hellfire Forge, Perfect Chaos Enhancement Stone, the refined core of a level 427 Ruin Mimic. Slam it hard enough into another magical item, and it will fuse with it, permanently altering it in a chaotic way. While the result is usually positive, hence the name Enhancement Stone, there is a chance that it alters your item in a negative way instead. This Perfect Chaos Enhancement Stone has significantly reduced chances of a negative outcome happening. 100,000 TP. I would use it on my scepter. Whatever benefits it gains would be doubled by the catalyst. The chance of negative outcome is a bit scary is the only issue. What do I buy?